Hey you guys, and welcome to my February wrap up. My name is ke-sha because everyone wants to know how it's pronounced. Is it ke-sha or ke-sha? You know, I didn't have this problem until ke-sha came on the scene. Okay, it's always been ke-sha, and ke-sha became famous. Like, oh, ke-sha, and now I get called ke-sha a lot, even by friends and family. They think it's funny for some reason, and now they just call me that sometimes, and I just answer to it at this point. So there you go. So last month it was kind of, it wasn't sad. I read a lot of books on my Kindle, which isn't sad, but I bought them and then I read them. Not all of them, but the majority of them. I'll leave my book haul down below if you want to see which ones I didn't read. But yeah, I read a lot, and I was supposed to be reading physical books, but I only read 2. And one of them really doesn't count towards my TBR at all, because you'll see why. It's shameful. So anyway, the first book that I read was Walk a Mile by Sarah Madison. This is a sequel to a book that I read in December. It's the second in a series. And in the first book, okay, it was just, you know, they had these 2 FBI agents and they got together. They're both really awesome. I loved both of them. But they're like, and I love their relationship. They played off each other really well, and it really carried the book. But technically nothing happened. Like, something happened, obviously, but like, it was never resolved. Like, nothing. Like, on one end, one of them sort of resolved. Like, I guess it was resolved enough. But you felt like it would have been something like they carried over into this book. Both of those themes. And I'm just sitting there like, not only carries over the main one, okay, but it's not resolved. If anything, it gets more crazy, and then something else happens, and then you're just sitting up there like, oh my god, and then something else happens, and you get to the end of the book, and like, I know she ain't gonna end it there. Oh, she ends it there. You know, it took like 4 or 5 years for her to come out with the second book. Like, there's no hint of a third that I can see going around, and if I have to wait 5 years to find out what the freak happens, like, just tie it up, lady. I'm sorry. There are emotions that I feel that I need to know, like, how is this gonna happen? Like, what is, like, it's just being dragged on so much. I mean, I can't imagine. Imagine if you were like the person who read the book when it first came out, and then you had to wait those long 4 or 5 years. And then you get the second book and nothing happens. Oh, dear Lord. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars because I still really loved it. I'm just not gonna, no. So, the second one that I read was Bound by Honor, Born in Blood Mafia Chronicles. It's the first book in said chronicles, by Cora, Reilly. And as you guys can see, it takes place in the mob. Sorry about that. And it follows this guy, Luca, and the girl Arya. And at 15, she's put in an arranged marriage with him. They're from 2 like feuding Italian families on each separate coast. And because of the pressures from like the Russian mob and the Yakuza and stuff like that, they want to merge the Italians together, so they deal with these 2, because the guy Luca, he's going to be head of the family after his father passes away or whatever, so he's in a really powerful position. And so, I mean, to see is kind of interesting. Like, she's kind of like trying to do her duty, not bring shame upon her family and stuff like that, because she's forced into this. She doesn't really have a choice unless she wants to leave everything and everybody behind. She can no longer talk to them, but she's really like dedicated to her siblings, and she doesn't want that, even though she's not going to be living close by them, because she has to move where of course he is, and he's like stubborn, and he has like a reputation. He got being a made man when he was like 12 or something, which is really serious and stuff like that. I mean, seeing their relationship like was awesome and involving, and I love both of them. I mean, I feel like there's only so much you can change the both of these characters until they're not like true to their world anymore, and I feel like she did it really nicely for me, and I give it 5 out of 5 stars. And there's 2 more books. I'm gonna wait to read the second one until like the third one's out, then I'll read them back to back. So the third book that I read was a physical book, and it is Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge. Yes. So, I gave this book a 4 out of 5. 4.5 technically. I have really conflicted feelings about this book. It's a retelling. It follows this girl Nyx who was, I feel like arranged marriages are gonna be a theme this year. So she's in an arranged marriage with the Lord or whatever, who who stands over their home where they live, and and then she gets conflicted after she starts to know him. And I feel like that was kind of like a theme. It's kind of like some people found her I hated her sometimes. I understood her a lot of the times, and sometimes I felt sympathy for her because she's caught between the Lord and her family duties and loyalties, and now she's knowing like everything isn't what she thought it was and stuff like that. And but I understand her the whole time. But she was kind of infuriating sometimes, but you had to kind of step back and think about it from her point of view and stuff like that. It's she loves her family. She grew up with her family, but now she's learning other stuff, and it's oh, okay. And with the Lord, I liked him. Yeah, he was not innocent by any stretch of the imagination, but then again, could you really blame him? People come to him with deals or whatever, and they know he's not the best one to go into. People are grown-ups. They go into those deals by themselves. They have to accept the consequences of their actions, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I don't get dude. But on the other hand, I feel like one of the themes in this book is just there's not black and white. There are shades of gray, and having to be true to oneself. You just because you're not an unselfish person doesn't make you a mean person or something. That kind of thing. I feel like maybe at one point I was just thinking too deeply about this, and I was just I kind of see what problems people have with it, but on the whole, I really loved it. And but I still had some problems with it. So I don't know. I gave it a 4.5, 4 stars for now, and I'm gonna reread it later on, and then maybe I'll change my mind about the 5-star. It was probably a 5-star for me. I had changed it to a 5-star until the last 2 or 3 pages, and I was just nah, I don't think I can roll with that. And the world building, I didn't mind it as much as some people. I mean, I feel like they gave us enough world and imagination, and I didn't didn't find the retellings the mythology that was mixed in it. It was not only Beauty and Beast retelling, but they had Greek mythology twisted into their own meaning kind of thing, confusing for me at all. All those myths and stuff, I was fine with it. I mean, I feel at this point, especially with how predictable it was in a lot of places, it was a lot of books are predictable these days. I feel at one point you just get to the point where some books you're gonna hate it for being predictable, and some of it you're gonna like it despite it being predictable, because at this point, what choice do you have? That's the thing. At this point, sometimes you have to love how the author takes that predictability and twist it into their own kind of thing. So that was it for me. 4.5. The next book that I read is going to be by an author you're going to hear a lot about, and it is Beyond by Chantal Fernando. This is another arranged marriage. Yes, I know it is with me, and it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. And this one, you're concerned about world building, people. Wow. Just anyway, this girl, she's 21. Usually people at this point in time in this post-apocalyptic society get married around 18, but her dad's kind of the big boss, so she was able to kind of drag it on. And then when he kind of forced the issue, she was able to convince him to pick somebody. So she picked somebody who is not into it, but he still does it because he feels loyalty to her father or whatever. And just kind of watching that dynamic, I really enjoyed it. But I just have to say, this the characters really carried the novel, which was a great thing, and I liked her writing style. I feel it's a very distinct, you'll probably either really like it or you really hate it or whatever. But it turned there was a zombie novel thing going on in here too, and it's kind of what's up with that? It didn't have any bearing too much, I guess, on their relationship and how it was gonna play out. And I mean, but it was there, and it was I'm so confused. I need some answers to this. Like, I need you to explore that world more. So if she ever does, we'll definitely do it. But I love both these characters and gave them each a 4 out of 5 stars. So the next book I read was The Giving Tree by Neil Silverstein, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I know most of you guys know it was about. I read it while I was in the store, so it was a physical book, but it doesn't count towards my TBR. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. If I see it on Book Outlet again, I'll definitely like pick it up. So the next 3 last books that I read are all part of the series, so I'm just gonna show them to you real quick. The first one is Maybe This Time by Chantal Fernando, and then we have This Time Around by her, and there we go. And then we have Time and Time Again. Sorry, I've been looking at my computer, but I thought I'd just show them to you in quick succession. And I gave so it starts off, the first one, Maybe This Time Around, and I'll link down the Goodreads down below for all the books I talked about, and if they're part of series, just a series page. And you know, it's just this girl, Summer, she moves in with her half brother, who like she's meeting for like the first time, and and you know, he has really hot friends. Of course, she picks the one that's kind of like standoffish to her, and they're both stubborn, and their relationship is awesome, and I love just seeing it progress. And some of the stuff that went down though was kind of irritating at times, but like I still love them both. Although at one point I was questioning everyone's, like, this other thing comes up and I'm just like, we're not gonna take this person's word for it, kind of thing. It just kind of created problems, which, you know, seeing how they dealt with it. So that's basically what it was. There was like a secret that he had. I didn't feel like it was like a secret that was all that secret, to be honest. I'm like, she could have just asked any freaking body. How she found out was like the dumbest. I was just sitting up there like, really? Why is this actually a secret? Like, there was no reason for it to be. It was just one of those things at some points, and I was just sitting up there like, oh god, that's so stupid. But hey, created tension between the characters, and you loved them, and you hated them, and stuff went on, and I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars, because I just love the characters so much. Like, those two, like, in my heart, my OTP people, together, forever. Then, I read the second book, which follows Reed's twin brother Ryan, who we see a lot in the first book. Him and Summer had developed like this friendship that was just so cute. But this one, there's this trope in there about like he has an estranged wife and stuff, and misunderstandings. And I felt like after stuff was like there wasn't, I felt like this didn't need to be a full-length one. This one could have just been a novelette. Like, I love Ryan and I liked his wife or whatever, but like I didn't need to read about him like for that long. Like, I loved Ryan and she was interesting, was glad to get to know her, but I felt like it would have just been better if you met someone new, to be honest with you. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. That sounds so mean. Oh my god. So the third one was a novelette, and I'm just saying, because after I read that one, I read this one, and I was like, this one should have definitely been longer. So this one follows another guy who's one of the friends, and he mans the bar, and he's like really mysterious, like he keeps to himself. So it was really kind of interesting to see like through his eyes and stuff like that, and you learn, you know. So it's kind of like he meets this girl who's like down on her luck and stuff, and they both know like about hard times, and I love them both. It was interesting, and like their problems were real. It was just so short, and I felt like it could have been longer and stuff like that. So I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And then there's another book, but I hadn't bought it. I have bought it for this month though, so I will read it, and it follows Xander, Summer's brother. So that will be interesting. So hopefully I will read it this month, for the month of March. But you guys, my favorite couple, like there was a tie in there between Summer and Reed and Luca and Arya, and they're both OTPs for me. Love them both. Have you guys ever like felt like you thought too deeply about a book maybe, and it was kind of confusing? Yeah, I don't know, like you felt like you really do need to reread a book just to kind of maybe sort it all out. Like, I definitely want to do that with this one. And that's all that I have to say. It is mostly romantic. They were just easy one-day reads, basically. So I felt like I didn't read hardly anything. So I'm hoping to do way better this month. If you guys see my TBR, you guys can see it was ambitious. So I'll link my TBR and my book haul if you guys haven't seen it yet. And I will talk to you guys later. Let me know how your Goodreads goal is going. I believe, I've read 14 books. I'm like 3 books behind so far. So I'm slowly catching up. And I feel like if I read the rest of the Kindle books that I bought, I'll definitely be catching up at least for a little while, depending on how well I do with my TBR. And let me know how your Goodreads goal is, and who was your new favorite couple. Is there a book that stands out for you from last month? Let me know, and I'll see you. Bye.